So glad you're with us on the Retirement Compass. Brad Johansson with Tim Kulhanek and Jeremy Gove. Stonebridge Wealth System. Guys, I'm grateful. Thanks for letting me sit in with you guys for a little bit.
It is a pleasure. We're glad to have you here with us.
The idea constantly is navigating you to and through retirement the best way. Look, the best way, at least for a lot of us, the way we feel was Grandpa's retirement. Everybody wanted Grandpa's retirement. We all had a pension. Grandpa got his cake, he got his watch, and he got his mailbox money because even after the paychecks went, Grandpa had a pension. And it was easy because we had guaranteed income. Now, guys, we have a country that's probably 12% of pensions, and everybody still wants the guaranteed income. Jeremy, when I look at some of the recent studies, even over the last 5 years, most of the numbers, most of what the talk is, becomes emotional, that if we have guaranteed money, we seem to spend more. We seem to enjoy more. Take me through what some of these studies, what people are saying about, I want Grandpa's retirement back.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of studies, like you said, Brad. And the thing that, the one study that I guess comes to mind as we were, putting the show together and talking through this, there was a study done in 2024 by David Blanchett and Michael Finke. Michael Finke is a professor at the American College of Financial Services. And they put the study together in June of 2024, and it's called Guaranteed Income, a License to Spend.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it kind of goes in line with your mailbox money. If we have money coming in, we can budget. We know what we have to spend and where we can go with that. But they analyzed data from the Health and Retirement Study, which is a nationally representative survey, and they took 20,000 Americans over the age of 50, and they did the study, and what they found is that retirees with assets that generate guaranteed income spend twice as much as retirees with equal amount of non-annuitized income. So it's a pretty significant difference. The study goes in, there has to be an emotional, because this is what we do with money. There's an emotional feel to this. So I feel more confident, which is why I spend twice as much? Yeah, that's it. I mean, if you think about what have you done for your whole life leading up to your retirement, you've worked, you've had a paycheck coming in maybe once a month, every 2 weeks. So that's just the way that we're put together. We understand that income's coming in. So in the study, they just did a simple example of if you had $300,000 in a 401k, you might spend $12,000 a year from that. But if you convert that same $300,000 into a guaranteed income stream, you're going to end up spending between $20,000 and $24,000 of income because that money's coming in. It's that emotional tie that we were talking about.
So Tim, is this straight a comfort level, or is this the idea of putting together a plan so we know?
I think it's a combination of things. Too often, I think when folks come in, let's say it's a couple.
Okay.
It's not uncommon, I think Jeremy, you'd probably agree with this, that if you get to talking about risk, one of them, and it's usually the female, she's going to say, you can see her tense up a little bit, hey, listen,
ease off.
My job is to make sure that this family is protected, is taken care of, right? Because that's what I've done my whole life.
Nurturers.
Yep.
And you're out there, whether you're a farmer, high risk, endeavor, you're out, you're a lineman working on power lines, restoring power down in Mississippi, high risk endeavor, and you might score a 90 on your risk profile, and she's a 32, okay? And too often we try to make every dollar do everything, right? Oh, I want this dollar, I want it to be very safe, and I also want it to grow. Why would we do that, right? Why wouldn't we give every single dollar we have a specific job? Don't be a jack of all trades, master of none. Because what this is it is psychology, right? It's behavioral finance. And instead of telling folks, oh, you can't have that, hey, what if we design a plan properly so you both get what you want? You get the security, right? So you can spend with confidence knowing that I have this safety net. But you also get, you don't miss that opportunity, right? You don't have that opportunity cost. You think, I'm missing out on what could have been. I'm maybe depriving my heirs of what they could have if I had taken on more risk and things like that. So it is behavioral. And I think what's interesting, one of the most interesting things about this study that they found is it doesn't really matter at what wealth level you consider, right? Whether it's folks that have 250 to 500,000, 500,000 to $1 million to 2.5 million or more, it happens at every single interval. People aren't spending, and it actually gets worse as the dollar amount goes up. If somebody has $500,000 in their retirement accounts, they'll underspend by 50% maybe. If somebody has 2.5 million in their retirement accounts, they'll probably underspend by even more than that, maybe by 60%. It's backwards, it seems, but it's because of what they call narrow bracketing, where these folks are looking at these dollars and they say, oh, well, this has to stay safe, and they don't want to see the balance drop, even though the whole reason they saved that money was to do what?
Retire.
Spend it in retirement, and they won't, right? Which is why our job as advisors is to give them what the study calls a license to spend. Right?
I like this, and some of you are saying it's ready. Am I ready? I want to put something that these guys have put together for you. All of this is for ease. It's for education. It's I don't know what to do. This may help you. Am I ready? Should I figure out a way to spend? StonebridgeRetirement.net. You can scan the QR code or go to the website on this. It is a simple quiz for you to say, where am I prepared? Where am I not prepared? Ooh, I didn't realize I should ask that question. We're going to leave this for a lot of the show, for you to be able to scan, and maybe you can go right along with us in trying to understand whether I'm ready to need some help. So what do the studies say, Jeremy, about spending this money and how people will use it if they get to this point of this emotional ease?
Well, so we talked about that study that they were asking 20,000 people, would you rather have $10,000 of guaranteed income, or would you rather have $140,000 in additional retirement savings? What do you think they said? They said, I'd rather have the $10,000 of guaranteed income.
Right?
Yep,
Even though they're actuarially equivalent, right?
They are the equivalent. Yeah, that's what's ironic. They are exactly the same. And so 60% of the respondents said that they would feel more comfortable spending on non-essentials like vacations, dining out, hobbies, if they had that $10,000 of additional guaranteed income. Even though they are the equivalent, they're exactly the same.
Because mentally, it changes where we're going
right.
with all of this. Is there a satisfaction feel? Look, we're going to spend 20, and longevity is here. We're going to spend a long time. Is this a satisfaction level for us to try and hit? And for each person, look, for a lot of you've worked with advisors who have put you all in the same thing. Yeah, I've got it. This works for you. This works for everybody. And yet there's a satisfaction level, Tim, when we talk about this, that is different for each individual. And yet the study is saying, once I get to that satisfaction level, if my plan works, I can make it work.
No doubt. And here's the thing. There's all sorts of data on this, right? So there's a UMISH study that Nationwide put out that said, hey, as the amount of protected income rises, so does satisfaction with retirement. There was a study done in Denmark. They're all about happiness, right? So
which is what we're after.
That's what we're after. It's Legal in General. The Happiness Research Institute in Denmark found retirees with guaranteed income score positively across multiple well-being measures. It's a reduction in stress.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And stress kills. It just does. People in high-stress jobs tend to have less longevity. And when you're constantly ruminating about things, wondering, like I had somebody in just the other day, and here's what she told me. She said, Tim, I want to enjoy my retirement, but I'm tired of feeling guilty and punished for spending my money because I lay in bed at night awake wondering, what are RMDs going to do to me? How much am I going to pay for my Medicare premiums if I have to take more money out than I had planned? What about Social Security taxation? What if they cut my social, like all these different things.
Yeah.
And my message to that person was, listen, that's a common thing. I don't want you to feel like you're alone, but you don't have to go through this phase alone. There's people out there that can walk you through this that have walked the path before. We've flown and landed the plane, and that's exactly what our team of experienced advisors at Stonebridge is designed to do. That's why we founded the company, not to sell people investments, but design a plan, not to give them certainty, but what we do focus on And what our commitment is to all the folks who come in and visit with us is they will leave with clarity. And that's what I think is the most important thing when we're talking about all the confusing aspects of retirement. Peace of mind knowing that you can have that license to spend and do it intentionally, not by accident.
Selling peace of mind. This is what you've been after for quite some time. StonebridgeRetirement.net. You scan the QR code. It is trying to figure out, can I stop laying awake at night wondering whether or not I'm going to be okay, whether my RMDs are going to be a problem, whether this money is going to last until my last breath? You scan the QR code to say, am I ready? Do I need help? And why are you talking about things on this program that nobody has ever talked about before? And then once you get to that spot, then you probably want to make a call. Maybe it's time for a second opinion to say, I would like to put together a complimentary financial plan that is mine and mine alone. 866-256-7778, so that you can have peace of mind. You want permission to spend your money so that you know it's going to last. 866-256-7778. This is your opportunity. Use your time wisely. Want to know more? We've got more after this.
Are you ready to retire? It's a simple question, but one that too many people just can't answer with confidence. If you save some money, that's great. But have you thought about how long it needs to last? What about Social Security, healthcare costs, taxes? We created the Retirement Reality Check to help you answer all of that. It's a quick self-assessment that gives you a score based on how ready you are across 5 key areas of retirement planning. In just a few minutes, you'll have a clear picture of where you stand and where you might need a second opinion. You don't have to guess, and you don't have to do it alone. The quiz is free, and it's a great way to start having a serious conversation about retirement. Scan the QR code and do the Retirement Reality Check today.
Do you own an annuity? Are you aware of what type of an annuity you own? For years, annuities have been a cornerstone of retirement planning, but they're not all created equal. Your current annuity might not be serving your retirement goals. The good news is rising interest rates could mean better guarantees and better benefits for your annuity. If your annuity is not working for you, wouldn't you like to know sooner than later? Call now for your complimentary annuity review.
So glad you're with us on the Retirement Compass. Brad Johansson with Tim Kulhanek and Jeremy Gove. Stonebridge Wealth Systems. We have had this up in the first segment. I want to leave it up for you to look. The idea is education. I want to be informed, because once we get down to it, the government doesn't care whether you're informed or uninformed. They're going to play to the rules. They've got a plan for you. You need a plan, and we're talking about a license to spend. So am I ready for retirement? What do I need to know? StonebridgeRetirement.net. Scan this QR code while we're here as we continue to talk about a license to spend. Jeremy, we talk about the problem that many retirees are hoarding money instead of spending it, which is an interesting problem. Why does this exist so much that you've seen?
Well, I think it's just a lack of the ability to make calculations. I mean, if you think about it, how many times have you retired? Probably none, or you're going to do it once.
We're
right?
hoping to do it once.
We're hoping to do it once, right? We don't want to go back to work, right? So the nice thing about Stonebridge, we've retired literally hundreds or thousands of times because we're helping people do that literally every day.
Perspective.
It's perspective. And so one of the things, you mentioned at the beginning of the show, we talked about grandpa's money and the pensions, that mailbox money. And I think that's what everybody ultimately would love to have. The reality is 15% of employees that are working in the private sector today actually have a pension. And so instead of a pension, you have things like 401ks, IRAs, and those are places that you're saving money. That's not a hard thing to do. I'm just, my employer's taking money out of my paycheck every 2 weeks, and it's just accumulating. The challenge comes when now I got to figure out how much money do I need to live off of, and how much money can I withdraw safely. And there's a lot of variables that go into all of that, right?
Yeah.
And so the simple calculus of this is you got to know how long you're going to live, right? Which I don't think anybody does, hopefully. You got to know what the market's going to do through those years of retirement. You got to know how much healthcare is going to cost. There's so many variables that go into that calculation, and so you really need a plan that can adapt to the changing circumstances of life, right? The one thing that is absolutely certain is life is uncertain. We don't know what's coming around the corner. We all think we're in control. We've done a great job of saving money, but at the end of the day, having a plan on how to utilize that money and how to spend it effectively, how to invest it effectively, those are all the challenges that we're talking about.
Hey, Tim, if this whole thing's uncertain, what's wrong with me hoarding my money? Because, man, I worked hard for this. I'm just going to let it sit. I'm not going to spend this whole thing. What's wrong with that? What's the problem with me sitting on the money?
Have you ever heard of the book Happy Money by chance?
I don't believe I have.
It's a great book.
But
great
now
book.
I'm interested.
Great book by a couple of researchers from, I think, Harvard, and Elizabeth Norton and Michael Dunn, I think. I might have the last names flipped around there, but it's Mike and Elizabeth.
I like it.
They distill, it's kind of like a meta-analysis almost, and they distill down the 5 key ways that people can interact with their money that gives them the most happiness, okay?
Okay.
And you know what number 1 is? It's buying experiences. And so what the
I love
cost
that.
of this is, it's great, right?
Love that.
The cost of this, in one word, legacy. Because your legacy isn't what you necessarily leave monetarily to the next generation. It's the experiences that you were able to live out in life and pass down for generations.
And how they make you feel.
And how they make you feel. Spending time with the people you love and care about, that's where you should be spending the money. And unfortunately, people are foregoing vacations, eating at home. They could take their wife out to dinner, not having the Valentine, celebration that they should. Those little things. Another one of the 5 key ways that you can spend money was just novelty, right? Don't get out of your normal routine. And there's a lot of research on that, how psychologically time will slow down. Your brain will record more frames per second when you get out of your comfort zone. Those are the types of things that are being forgotten. And here's the thing, real quick. Michael Finke says, unless people purposely want to leave behind a large bequest when they die, many retirees are denying themselves the opportunity to enjoy life by spending more of their savings. And that's a shame.
So it's not what I've collected. It's, man, I wish I would have kind of thing that actually leads to happy money. Okay, I want some solutions.
Well, we've got some examples. We meet with clients every day in the office, and this I hear the same story over and over again, and that's why we wanted to do the show. The story is, if I would have known I was going to have this much money now. I have a sweet lady in Hastings. She's 87, still lives at home. She's doing great mentally. She does her own taxes, everything, but she told me, if I would have known that I was going to have as much money as I have now, or the income that I have now, at this age, we wouldn't have slept in our car when we went on vacations. We wouldn't have went to the grocery store and bought bread, ham, and cheese and taken that with us, and that's what we ate on our vacations. We would have stayed in hotels. We would have done the things that we really could have afforded to do, but we were just nervous or scared to do that. Another gentleman, he has over $4 million in his account right now. And he said, I could tell when we were meeting with him that he was distraught. His wife had just passed away. She wanted to go to Paris. He didn't take her to Paris because he didn't want to withdraw the money from his retirement account, because he didn't want to pay the taxes. And so he ended up not doing that. And he honestly would probably give $4 million to take her on that trip to Paris, which he can never do, right? So those are the things that we want to talk about, so that people are thinking, to go along with what Tim's talking about as far as having that experience and leaving those memories, right, with their loved ones.
We talk about on the show all the time, the what ifs. But what if I would have? Man, I wish I would have StonebridgeRetirement.net. Scan the QR code to be able to find out where you are, what you need to know. And maybe this is now spurring some of that. Yeah, I know what I want to do. I know what I want to experience. And to be able to have a plan in place, a license to spend money, how much is that worth to you? How much time do you have left? Look, we always say, if you can tell us when you're going to die, we can come up with a perfect retirement plan for you, but no one knows. There is no crystal ball. Your magic 8 ball is not going to work on this. Let's put together a plan. It's complimentary. And if you haven't heard any of this before, or an advisor hasn't talked to you about it, then maybe now it's time for a complimentary financial plan. It is a second opinion to take you into and through retirement the way you want it to be. A license to spend. 866-256-7778 is the number to call. Let's put together a plan for you. Don't wait any longer. Let's do it. You have permission to call. 866-256-7778. What are you waiting for? We'll be right back.
Are you ready to retire? It's a simple question, but one that too many people can't answer with confidence. If you've saved some money, that's great, but have you thought about how long it needs to last? What about Social Security, healthcare costs, taxes? We created a retirement reality check to help you answer all of that. It's a quick self-assessment that gives you a score based on how ready you are across these 5 key areas of retirement planning. In just a few minutes, you'll have a clearer picture of where you stand and where you might need a second opinion. You don't have to guess, and you don't have to do it alone. The quiz is free, and it's a great way to start a serious retirement conversation. Scan the QR code and do the retirement reality check today.
Glad you're with us. Not a whole lot of time, but we're trying to give you a license to spend, and doing that in the easiest way possible. Brad Johansson, along with Tim and Jeremy Stonebridge, and we have had this up for you. I'm gonna put it back up for you again. StonebridgeRetirement.net. Scan the QR code. We talked about solutions. We get into the story time because I love story time, and it's because people need to relate. It's not just me. I know that there are other people out there, but let's talk about some solutions as we start to move forward into permission.
Yeah. So there's 3 main strategies that we use to create guaranteed income in retirement. The first one is one that everybody will have access to if you contributed to Social Security, and it's optimizing your Social Security. It's really important to make sure that you're making the right decision on that, because if you decide to claim at age 62, which is typically the earliest that you can claim, you're going to lock in that reduced benefit for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So that could be extremely detrimental, especially if you have a spouse that may be relying on that Social Security benefit down the road. If you wait till 70, your benefit increases by approximately 70% from the difference between age 62 and age 70, which can have a pretty big impact on your income. The second one that we talk about in the office is considering annuities. So we can exchange that risk, the longevity risk that we're worried about, and that's one of the reasons we don't want to spend money. We can exchange that risk and put that on the back of an insurance company, because we can get guaranteed income that's guaranteed for the rest of our life. And so we really like that option as well. Systematic withdrawals from your accounts, and I think it's really important to decide, where am I going to take income from, and how is that going to be taxed? Because that's really an important piece of this, because if I'm taking money from an IRA where I have to pay tax on that, or I could kind of take money from a Roth IRA as well and manage my tax bracket, I'm getting to keep more of my money than just giving away in taxes, which is what I think the IRS and the government's hoping.
It's options. I wander all over the place, and I've drifted in. Is it happy money that you said?
Happy money.
I want happy money.
I do too.
We all want happy money. I want to give you the license to go wherever you need to go here, because we've got to wrap this up. But the whole idea is, let's get you to a place where there is happy money, where there is feeling. Lead me where you want to go and tell people what you want them to have. And it kind of goes back to what you said in the very beginning. This is why we started the company.
It is. I think I'll leave you with a story of what I just experienced here the last few weeks. We do a lot of workshops in our communities, and we do these workshops on taxes, Social Security, and you can go to our website, stonebridgeiwm.com, and you can find a list of upcoming classes. They're complimentary. There's no cost to you to attend. And what the topic is, estate planning, a broad spectrum that we cover. We even have some that are specifically geared towards women and the unique challenges they face in retirement. There's a couple who came to a workshop in 2017. They came back in and saw me at the end of 2025. They came back because they said, you treated us differently than any other advisor we met with because you focus not on our money necessarily or what we have, but on how we're going to achieve our goals. And unfortunately, when I met with them 9 full years ago now, they had just put all of their money, 100% of everything they had, into annuities. And you know, sometimes annuities get a bad name, and I think it's because they're misused. People put all of their money in one product, and that's all your eggs in one basket is never really a good solution. But as time went on, what I found was the annuities they bought weren't serving their purposes anymore. So what we did is we refinanced them, so to speak. We created an environment now where they've got the liquidity they need to achieve their goals, to have the flexibility to spend when they want to, because they like having the ability to get their hands on money if they need to, because annuities don't necessarily provide that. But they still wanted safety protection. They still wanted something that was somewhere between a CD and putting all their money in the stock market. And that's where an annuity, if it's used properly, can live and give that license to spend. Those clients, I use the word client, they're now clients. They're now moving forward towards their goals. They have the balanced, comprehensive approach to retirement they should have had in the first place, and they now have the license to spend. So I want to leave you with a graphic before we close here. This is how I want to treat all of our clients when they leave our office. How they should feel is they should have a license to spend, and they should be doing it with the people they love, experiencing the things they've always dreamed of, and never have that feeling of, I wish I would have, I should have done this differently. That's what we hope you get when you call the number at the bottom of your screen.
866-256-7778. You treated us differently than anybody else ever has. It becomes a family experience. It is part of your experience because it's going to be a lifelong relationship. 866-256-7778. Would you like a second opinion? You have the license to do it. Make the call. Do it for yourself. See you in the office and right back here next time on the Retirement Compass.